Tell me about you, Brandon.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess I don't know exactly what attracted you here to me, but yeah, my story. I mean, the brief version is New York City startup entrepreneur, built some companies with some success. Got to a point where my investors were asking me to raise more money. My heart kind of sank. Knew that wasn't where I was meant to be. It kind of led me on a bit of a journey that involved ayahuasca, involved a lot of other modalities, a lot of travel, and ended up writing a story called Lost on Purpose. That was the first thing I had written personally. I had no followers on Medium. It went viral with tens of thousands of people who had read it, and a lot of them were saying this is my story. And what they meant by that was really that um, it they had done a lot of the things, checked a lot of the boxes that they felt they were supposed to be doing from their parents, from their communities, from society, and they weren't feeling fulfilled. They weren't feeling joy. They didn't really know where to turn next. And from that feedback, a lot of people wrote me, commented. I thought, how can we support, especially leaders, people that have maybe an oversized impact and ability to create change in this world, whether the change is in their own companies and treating employees better, whether it's in their communities, their families, and or creating something that has a more positive impact on society. And so with that, somehow decided to do ayahuasca retreats that also incorporated a lot of other modalities that I had learned along my journey. And it worked, had very, very positive responses. And it ended up becoming my full-time thing, what I've dedicated my life to. And we're basically this month, we'll do our 22nd journey. It's been about 6 years. We've taken about 1,000 leaders through our program, which is yeah.
Amazing. Keep going.
Yeah. So it's an 8-week program. When we started out, really no one was doing any type of preparation or integration work around ayahuasca journeys or plant medicine for that matter. And so we did we have a 2-week preparation period, a virtual experience, and then we have our 1 week in Costa Rica and 5 weeks of integration after. And even beyond that, we have our community of 1,000 is very active. We have local chapters; they get together. We have virtual ways that people connect and support each other throughout. So the community aspect's been a big piece of things. When ayahuasca's been done over thousands of years, it's always been in tribes and communities. You sat with your community, you integrated, life was integration, you were with your community. And that really got removed when it got westernized over the last 50 years, people popping into local ceremonies or going down to Peru by themselves and coming back and not really being supported or knowing where to turn next. And so bringing the community aspect back into it has been a huge thing for us. And the connections that people make has been really positive. In some cases, led to business partnerships, it led to longtime friendships, and just overall support in an ongoing journey because it's not a kind of one-time thing. It's people that are coming are really wanting to shift areas of their life, be on a journey of life of learning and exploring. And so we've really tried to incorporate that all into our program and experience.
Wow, that's incredible, Brandon. I'm like, hey, you got that down. Look at you. Look at you go.
Done
Yeah.
it a few times, yeah. A few times today too.
I love it so much. And I love that there's just so much thought and intention and consciousness into what you do because I've been on this path for about a decade. I have never experienced ayahuasca. It's one of the only medicines I haven't really
Oh, you're
experienced.
ready.
But I've been looking. It's been calling me in the past like 6 months to a year. I've been more open to it and I felt like a draw towards it. But
Yeah.
again, finding the right
Yeah.
space, right container. Because I do this with majority of the time with either MDMA or psilocybin.
Mhm.
But ayahuasca is its own very special. They're all very special.
Yeah.
Very special, and they need that respect and reverence. And I love to hear that you guys are doing the pre-work, the
Mhm.
community, and the post-work with the community is everything. It's everything. That's exactly what we're missing. This is why wars start because
Mhm.
there's lack of community, because there's separation, there's otherness.
Yeah.
Incredible work. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate that.
So then how do you find your leaders? Like, how do you go about that?
About 80% comes through referrals. So it's mainly been through referrals and other, yeah, things like this. We really speaking to influencers, people who have audiences. That's really where the bulk, I would say, of of people come through. Because really understanding, yeah, like you said, what is the right place? I interview everyone who comes on our journeys, and most of the people are first-time ayahuasca drinkers. I would say about 80%. So we love that. I think our experience is really well set up for that and really guiding the right experience. Ayahuasca was actually the first plant medicine or psychedelic that I experienced, and I'm very grateful for that. In that, as you mentioned, there's such reverence and such intention, or there should be, can be, within that. And we really try to provide that experience for people as they, kind of enter this space. And we also have some people that have done it all, been to all the things at many places, and they too are blown away because there's a the medicine, not to negate it in any way, because it's so powerful, so beautiful. And there's just so much that can be opened. And if you have the right container, even just on our journey itself, we have a lot of other workshops, other types of modalities and content. It's when we're opened up with ayahuasca, when we're in that container, we see so many breakthroughs that happen, outside the ceremonies per se, but in the other types of workshops, the other content, and all that working together can really provide, I believe, exponential effects. And it's something that uh, I think can be overused by some, in that they chase the insights and the breakthroughs they receive. And we really want it to be something maybe you only have to do it once in your life, or it's something where years down the road, when you've integrated, um, then maybe it calls to you. But I've interviewed people that had less than optimal experiences 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and maybe never would have come back, or were really hesitant. And we really want to make sure people's experience gives them everything that is really possible, in the right context, in the right setting, the right people.
Yeah, it's everything. What you just described, the container that you describe is everything you need to have not only a beautiful journey, but a beautiful life on earth,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Part of
That
our experience, there's so much joy and love and care that happens. And so people experiencing that sometimes for the first time, really experiencing them being loved for their true self, them being able to be vulnerable and accepted and received. Oftentimes the pain and the traumas and the things that we hold, we think is so exclusive to ourselves. And to then see, especially powerful leaders, people that maybe they resonate with, that have gone through the same things, in many cases, or gone through their own challenges. And to see that, to experience that, is a really powerful part of the process that I think gets missed in many experiences. Because ayahuasca, there's obviously a very internal, personal component to it, and certainly the ceremonies are held in that space. And then there's the integration, there's the participation, there's what's happening, collectively with the group is so powerful. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like that's the entrance into this world, right? You're like, okay, I've had these downloads, I've had this very magnificent experience. How do I connect back into life, and how do I bring it back? And so when you talk about the workshops, and I love that model, the being is so open in that
Mhm.
space, right? Right after the experience, and then you have a trusted and safe group of
Mhm.
people together, then you're like, "Oh," even more light bulbs go off,
Mhm.
right? And
Yeah.
how do I manifest into this world? Because a lot of us we have good ideas, we're creative beings, right? But creation is a whole different game, right? And so the how-tos, how to walk on this earth, living the life that you want to live is, that's what you're talking about in integration,
Yeah.
at least what is what I'm receiving.
For sure.
The connection with community, huge.
Yeah, and a lot of the issues that leaders, I mean, anyone faces, but some of the things that leaders face is sometimes overlooked, in that, like, self-love is one of the workshops we do, and really powerful. All of our workshops are very experiential. They're not like lectures. They're very much getting into it so that you can, view your own triggers in real time, view what you gravitate towards, kind of work on the tools that you're learning and the information that you're learning in real time. And that self love exercise actually came from a guest on Journey 2. We didn't have it at the time. We've had a lot of successful people. I would say he's one of the more, successful people in the world. He's Harvard, Yale management, and multiple best New York Times #1 best-selling books. Consults with leadership teams of the tops, Fortune 500 companies in the world. And after an integration session, he raised his hand and he said, "Can someone please tell me who here loves themselves? And about a third of the group raised their hand. And he said, can you guys stay after and explain to me what that means? Because I don't even have a concept of it. And, from that, we created what ended up being what is one of our most powerful sessions. Because leaders, I mean, oftentimes we're building and creating for some lack. We're building and creating because of fears, because of limiting beliefs, and we're creating from that space. And so, what happens when we start to create from our hearts, from our abundance, from our joy? And that's really what we're trying to support people through. It's not about like sitting on a mountaintop by yourself. It's how do I continue to be a powerful leader and creator in this world, but do so from a place much more in tune with our hearts and ultimately the collective. And so that's, yeah, I think a really powerful thing that comes through in our journeys.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. I lead a lot of physicians, professionals as well,
Mhm.
CEOs, but the majority of my clients are physicians, lawyers.
Yeah.
But inevitably, what I see is the trauma that we have not
Mhm.
looked at, right? That I'm not worthy of love. This is the translation that comes through when, especially, it's a loved one who's supposed to keep you safe and
Mhm.
didn't. And in
Yeah.
fact, we're the perpetrator, right?
Yeah.
And as children or adolescents or adulthood, whatever it is, wherever in our journey, we all have had trauma. It's the human life, right? And how are we going to look at it? Which angles are we going to look at it? And we need guidance in all of that.
Mm.
As human beings, we're herd animals. We're supposed to be together. We're only alone. If you look at our ancestors, if they were alone, it meant death, right?
Yeah.
In the wild. And so we need each other to be able to see ourselves through each other's experience, just like you're
Sure.
right.
Yeah. I mean, our organization's called One Heart. And that's been definitely a guiding principle because it's the separation that causes, it's separation from ourselves, from our bodies, from each other, that causes all the dis-ease or that we face. And we've seen that time and time again. I mean, we had someone in our last journey, and this has happened multiple times, had chronic pain for, I believe it was decades or at least 10 years. And literally went away on her journey. And we've seen this happen. And sometimes it comes back 25% of what it was. Sometimes it literally is gone completely. And there's such an emotional component. We're storing stuff in our bodies over time. We have ways of suppressing it, of keeping it down. And it causes pain in our bodies. We're spiritual beings, we're energetic beings in addition to being physical beings. And that often is separated. And I commend you. I mean, we've had quite a bit of doctors and nurses and people in those fields on our journeys. And I love when there's openness. We actually started a functional medicine kind of add on to our program. We have actually, he's my functional medicine doctor, and he came on our journey a couple of journeys ago, and we started a program. It's an add-on. It's nothing. We actually don't take anything from it. It's just kind of his program that we've partnered with him on, and allows people to get functional health readings and understand some of the causes of not only their physical health, but when they're doing this work, well, one of the things that may stop them from having the results they like is having hormone imbalances, is having inflammation in their body and their minds. And so when we're able to kind of address the physical with the emotional and spiritual together, it's even more powerful. And also, when people are going through experiences like this, they're much more pliable, for lack of a better word, to make changes in their life. And we've seen it starting with the diet that we do 2 weeks prior. We've seen many people, go off caffeine, and nothing wrong with caffeine. I drink coffee, but have different relationships with it. Alcohol, we've had many people that had just unhealthy relationships as I did in my 30s, or 20s and early 30s, and make some big health changes in their lives that are really really important. And we've also had a lot of people, to do ayahuasca, you need to be off of antidepressants and certain medications. And so we've seen a lot of people go through the process beforehand of doing that and stay off of them. And I've heard many horror stories of people who have been on them and what those have done and created in their bodies and in their minds. And so that's a huge piece of it is really being holistic. There's a lot of talk of what holistic means, and sometimes that's okay. We'll do a little yoga or a little meditation with our ayahuasca, but truly being holistic and looking at the full picture of our health, of the depth of what's maybe causing some of the things that we're experiencing in our bodies is really powerful.
It's very powerful. No, absolutely, 100%. I'm very similar in what I do as well. Educating people and my clients on the
Mhm.
medications that they're on and
Mhm.
And oftentimes with that education, then they're able to, they feel that they have the permission to start looking at coming off of their medications that are, I mean, I was an academic hospitalist for 10 years. I came off like a year ago away from that world. And I was studying the psychedelic realm for the past decade at the same time with my own journeys and my going through my own traumas and recognition and learning from them and evolution, all of it. But truly, if we are truly taking care of our being, like all of us, the spiritual, and even that I feel like gives it separation, the physical, it's all the same. And if there's any energetic blockages anywhere, then yes, you see disease. Like I saw the worst forms of
Mhm.
physical disease, with metastatic cancers to the most severe forms of addiction and overdoses and
Yeah.
PTSD. I mean, and being in New Mexico because of the underserved population here that we take care of, the depth of the human suffering that I saw through my patients, and I'm so grateful that I was able to experience that. But I saw that energetic blockages turn into those self-sabotage patterns, turns into physical ailments. And then we also don't listen. We have not learned to listen to this ancient, beautiful, natural receptor that we have that is so complex and so intelligent that speaks to us. When I have pain, it's speaking to me about
Yeah.
something else going on.
Yeah, I think it's something like 60% of people now have chronic disease. Just crazy to me. I mean, our bodies were built to heal themselves and to function in this world. And the fact that you have to take medicine for the rest of your life is really counter to how we were built. And it's become, yeah, I was put on statins, I think, in my 20s. Luckily, I had the wherewithal to get off them. And by traditional medicine, some of my numbers still aren't ideal. And when you kind of look at it functionally, there's no concern there. And so, yeah, just we have these kind of story, it's the pharma's job to create uses for products. I mean, I've been my prior career was advertising and marketing. I didn't work with pharma. I did work with alcohol and other things. And our jobs are to create customers. And no matter how you slice it, that's what a corporation that's focused on profit is going to move towards. So it's unfortunately that's what funds a lot of the science and a lot of the things out there. And it's beautiful when people experience for themselves what's possible with the human body.
Oh, yes, yes. And you're looking for returning customers, right? These big giant corporations, they want returning
Yeah,
customers.
exactly.
So when you're on a chronic medication for the rest of your life, and SSRIs, they're not that simple to get off. I have many clients who are just like, man, I tried several times and it is the most difficult thing to come off of. They have trauma from that.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. And anything that's, for me, like, yeah, I mean, I'm in Costa Rica. I love my coffee and every journey I'm off of it for at least 2 weeks. And so just knowing that you can be off of things and you're not dependent on them and you can reset your body is really important. And then you decide and your body really gets smart. Like I've personally didn't eat a lot of red meat prior to this journey and I actually eat more red meat now. And it started, now there's a lot of science out on, the health of that. But it really started before I even knew any of that. It just started with my body like craving red meat in a way it hadn't before. And I've seen that happen a lot. It's not always, sometimes people, crave vegan or go different ways, but it's just getting in tune with what is it that our body needs.
that's it. So you're based in Costa Rica?
I am now, yeah. I've been here for about 2.5 years.
Beautiful. I was just there with my family for a family reunion and just
Uh,
magical. I've been there another time, like 2015, I want to say, and then we went back with my husband
mm,
and family. It was just
yeah.
wonderful,
Yeah. Our
wonderful.
daughter was born here and just, I mean, seeing her in nature and just just every day, birds and monkeys and playing with rocks and grass and leaves and just being outside and just that alone is medicine, grounding and being outside, sunlight, some of the things that we're even taught to avoid that are so enriching and healthy for us.
Yes, yes to all of it, all of it. It's so interesting. I just wrote a book that got published in February, and I literally talk about all of this, even the nutrition myth It's a myth that was created by the HAA because there was a lot of money involved and the statins and I mean harm that we're causing, right? From these lies to keep people down and repressed in many different ways so that they cannot think for themselves. So we cannot have community. So we live in more in fear and anxiety than in harmony and in love and with open hearts.
Yeah, and all our, I mean, mental and physical lives in our gut biome, as you know, and the health of that. And when we're taking chemical, I mean, I'm very conscious of, I mean, any chemical and anything. I mean, let alone taking pills that are all chemicals every day. I mean, anything I do every day is under a lot of scrutiny. I mean, I have my vices, I have my things, but if I'm doing something every day and putting that in my body, I mean, you really have to question what that's doing, because you are disrupting things in the gut biome. That's another place where the functional medicine and medicine, things really come in because you can measure that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And as you said, it's fine to indulge in things, right? It's the amount, the frequency, and the intention behind it. Even alcohol. Alcohol has just become this horrific enemy to us because of how we're abusing it. But if you
Hmm.
have a healthy relationship with it, where it's like once in a while you have a glass here and there, okay. But if you're downing to the point of blackout and you're hanging out with your family, that is not okay. Not
Yeah.
okay. And in fact, it's been named the number one most dangerous drug. Kills, I mean, the number of patients that died on my service because of alcohol is innumerable, especially in the native population, the intergenerational trauma that they carry with them and they numb and they escape. And some of them don't even think because they're
Yeah.
introduced to it at such a young age. It's just, oh, this is our culture. This is how we do.
Yeah, we're interrupting the signals, and the native population had very strong signals on what was good well before any of us knew, and they just disrupting their signals. They're suppressing things that are telling them, "Hey, this is not what's healthy and good for me." And then you lose those receptors, you lose that knowledge that we're all born with. So
Yeah.
having chemicals, having alcohol, having all these things in our body makes us disconnected.
Yes, absolutely. Um, yeah, if have you had any clients that are native leaders?
Not clients. One of our medicine team members is a Native American elder, and he largely serves peyote, and his wife is an ayahuasquero, and they're beautiful couple together. And yeah, I mean, I've just every time he speaks, just the knowledge he has, he really is one of the wisdom keepers, and you hear like all the wisdom, all the knowledge that they hold and they've had for all these years. And, in the last 50, 100 years, it's just been subverted by science where that is funded by profit interests.
And that by itself, right? The profit interest. If we were in Costa Rica in Guanacaste, and
Yeah,
of
I live
course
in Guanacaste.
yeah, 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 and it's beautiful, and there's a lot of tourist activity there, and
Yeah.
now you're seeing a lot more money come in, and
Hmm.
they're, like, shaving off, like, parts of the hills and the mountains that overlook the ocean, and you're like, "Oh my god, like, why? Why can we
So much
not
land.
live in a hut, like, and have all the amenities you need, but preserve the flora and the fauna? Why can't we be in harmony?" And the only and I see this over and over again, the people that do such a thing to nature. They themselves are doing that to themselves. They just have a lot of money, so
Hmm.
they can actually shave off the top of the mountain. And you're like, this is criminal. It should never be.
Hmm.
And of course, with urbanization, we've seen that all over the world. But there were at least 20 fires in Guanacaste while we were there.
Yeah.
Wildfires. And the global warming is a real deal too. And I think it's beautiful that you are targeting specifically world leaders because we need that. We need it so badly. We need every single one of us who have any kind of influence, and we all have influence. Let me tell you, everybody's got a community, right?
Right.
At different levels, of course. But this is how we can potentially change the trajectory of where we are right now by changing awareness, evolving by changing consciousness of leaders who have a say in what is produced, how is it produced, who's building what, how we're building, and then talking about how to preserve, like why not? That's part of my program. I'm like, what is your relationship with nature? Or do you even have one? That as you said, even sunlight has been vilified. and we need it completely. Every day we need it. We need
Yeah.
sunshine, we need sunlight at least 20 minutes a day, at least.
Up early with my daughter at sunrise, and every day we're out having a walk and being in that early sun. And yeah, hopefully that gets ingrained with her and is with her for her life.
Beautiful. That's beautiful. I love what you're doing. I love what you're doing. I'm so glad we connected.
Yeah.
So then tell me more. Tell me whatever it is that you wanna share. How can we find you? How can we help you contribute? Like, what can we do to it's a movement. Yeah.
For sure. And yeah, we very much yeah, focus it that way. And our alumni are very passionate and great supporters of what we do. Um, yeah, I mean, it's called One Heart. So our website is actually the number one and then HEART. So oneheart.com. We have a lot of the information up there. I personally interview and speak with everyone who comes on our journeys. So when people apply, have a conversation, really tap into what's calling them. As you mentioned, ayahuasca is very much a calling. You start to feel it. You start to be more and more in your presence. And just talking through that and where they're at in their life, what their expectations are. You have to be ready to do the work, as we talk about with I mean, ayahuasca is not going to solve your problems, or any modality is not going to solve your problems. It will give you clarity. It can provide you with different perspectives. The way I often describe it is you're able to really take on fears and limiting beliefs and blockers that usually you don't know are there and have been affecting you for much of your life. And when you see those things, it gives you the ability to shift them. And so that's why the integration aspect is so important. On the journeys, I mean, everyone is flying high after that. There's a lot of answers. You're really connected into a lot of things. And then you go back to your life and the world hasn't changed. Your family hasn't changed. Your work hasn't changed. And so it's like, how do you take this new awareness, these new perspectives, and make the active change in your life that will shift your life, that will shift your health and your well being, and allow you to be stronger for those around you, your community, your world. Yeah, and then I mean, our experience, as I mentioned, I mean, it's an 8 week program, so there's 2 weeks prior we do preparation, and so people really get connected into the team, the people they'll be journeying with. Usually when people arrive, they're already like feeling very connected and close with each other. So that really allows you to open up a lot more. A lot of the experiences, the more open you are, the more available, and the more safe you feel, the deeper you can go. And so we really place an emphasis on that. And we have what we call elevation groups. So people break into smaller groups led by our alumni that have come back to be in service. And so there's like a small group component to it, along with the broader group. So people are really kind of connected in beforehand. Our journeys, as I mentioned, we have 3 ayahuasca ceremonies, and we also have workshops. We have other modalities like breathwork, temazcal, a Native American sweat lodge, which I'm guessing you're familiar with. And I lead a lot of the journeys with a friend and partner, Mike Rosenfeld, who is very well trained in flow state technology and mindset. And so you're really, in real time bringing those aspects in. So you're receiving these breakthroughs, receiving these insights, and then given tools to create in our world with those. And so that's a big component of it. It's at a really gorgeous retreat center that is glamping. So you're in nature, beautiful bedding and amazing food and service. We've tested out different retreat centers and just kind of these boxy
Oh
hotel
god, no.
rooms really separate you from a lot of the experience. So being really nestled in nature, the property has amazing natural amenities like waterfalls and
Ugh.
creeks and horseback riding. And so, you get to experience all of that. And, we have a lot of people coming from New York and from San Francisco and from all over the world that are not, living their day to day, lives in that. And so the appreciation that comes with nature, the healing aspect of that, being in that space, being just able to really unplug. My first experience was actually at a yoga studio in Brooklyn, and I took an Uber home that got pulled over. And
Oh my god.
I was back at work a couple of days later, got me here, and fortunately, the medicine man leading it was quite qualified, a Peruvian. But yeah, the experience to really step away from your life, to be in nature, so much to it. It's great to take space when you're doing something like this to really allow yourself to create a different reality, because the people coming on the journey are usually looking for shifts, and trying to see where that is. And if you're doing that in environments that you're already kind of accustomed to and nestled into, sometimes that can be more challenging. So we really get people out of that, get people into a new space. And there's a lot of reverence that goes with the medicine and just with nature itself. And, really helping people understand that and all the power that that has as well.
Incredible. And where in Costa Rica are you?
So our retreat center is near Perez Celedon. I hope I didn't butcher that. But it's kind of central it's in the mountains of the country. It's about an hour or so away from like Uvita and Dominical, which some people know as, popular beach destinations, but really nestled in its jungle, mountains, some open space. So it really gives a lot of different elements. Beautiful. It gets good rain. So it has just beautiful nature, all around. The climate's ideal, sunny during the days, depending on the type of season, at nights as well. It cools down at night, so it's really comfortable. Evenings in the, mid 60s. And so just really just kind of a beautiful environment to explore this type of work.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So is this it? Are you gonna stay there forever?
Yeah, I mean, forever's a long time, and right now, there's nowhere I'd rather be. I mean, when I think of raising our daughter, and just even the type of schools that are around, just her being in nature, the type of way we want to see her raised, really working towards building community and really raising her in that type of environment is really important. So,
Awesome. How old is she?
she's 15 months.
She's a baby. My gosh, amazing. I have a 3-year-old son and a 16-year-old daughter. Yeah, it's very special. And really thinking about their future is extremely important. What patterns we are creating for them it's everything because that's the next generation. Like she will be leading the next generation. What are we
Yeah.
teaching them? What are we exposing them to? And how are we doing it? And like her being in that kind of an environment, just incredible.
And you see, I mean, technology is obviously pervasive, and there's many beautiful things with technology. I mean, that's the world I came from, and there's just a lot less of the obsessive use of it here, and ability to, ground ourselves in the real world, and just find that to be an easier path to do here than in the States, or at least my experience of it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. The connection is very strong there. Community connection is very strong there. I mean, they take their time, right? Slow is medicine. They slow down. They go to the beach together. They'll go in nature and like watch the rain fall and they're in reverence of it. They're in reverence of the nature that they're in. And truly the respect that I see in Costa Ricans for nature and there's kindness. There's
Hmm.
kindness and the animals are not afraid of humans, which speaks volumes
Yeah.
of humans.
Yeah, I mean, our daughter is like, she's always walking up to people, and like, it's just beautiful. Like, she's getting smiles from everyone back. And, sometimes I think if we were still in Miami or even New York, like, would she be getting those same reactions, and just the ability, the welcomingness of those around her and what that means to her experience of life is really beautiful.
Beautiful. The emotional intelligence is like on fire for her. Can
For
you imagine
sure.
the world she's growing up in versus like I'm from Iran. I grew up in a terrorist regime in war the first 8 years of my life.
Wow.
And even then, the community aspect is so, so strong within the Persian community. Even
Mhm.
in Iran, even during war, we all came together. We always helped each other. My
Mhm.
parents, if we had extra food, it always went to the neighbors. Always. Like it was not even a question.
Right.
Kids didn't go hungry because of this culture.
Yeah.
Practice of life was connection, and you connected through just being together, no agenda, nothing be and enjoy each other's company. And that is so holding us. We learned so much from each other, from other adults, not just our parents, but
Mhm.
all the other adults that were around us. It's very special to be able to provide that for your kids in a safe and trusted environment.
Yeah.
That's so cool. That's so cool. And does your wife do the same work with you?
She actually does similar work. She's been one of our facilitators on journeys. She's been off mainly since pregnancy and the baby, and she just started leading her own women's retreats. She works with psilocybin. I mean, her retreats are she has some really powerful partners as well as herself, and There's a lot of beautiful medicine that they bring forth in connection of women, which is really, really beautiful. I was fortunate to see her first retreat. I was there watching our baby, and so got to experience that, and it was a really beautiful, beautiful experience. And yeah, she's really committed to serving in this way as well.
That's beautiful. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. And so my question is, I know about ayahuasca, but the origins of it, I guess. Everybody talks about the Peruvian
Hmm.
retreat and that's where it's coming from and all of that.
Hmm.
Um, but in Costa Rica, of course, there are also many retreat centers in Costa Rica
Hmm.
that's ayahuasca. What is that? Tell me about the, I don't know, the history, the background of that in Costa Rica, I guess.
I don't know a ton, truthfully, about Costa Rica. I mean, our medicine does come from Peru. One of the things that's really unique about our experience is we also blend lineages, which is pretty rare. So we have medicine people sitting together, some trained in Shipibo tradition, some that have lived with the Yawanawa in Brazil, and they're very different. I mean, the Yawanawa is very much a lot of joy, a lot of music, a lot of celebration, which is really beautiful. The Shipibo traditionally is done in kind of pitch black, and mainly the music is ikaros, or these mantras that are often received through dietas that the medicine team does, which I've done as well, and much of our team has, kind of in a hut alone in Peru with no running water, and different conditions where you're really just sequestered, but it's really beautiful silent time to convene with not only ayahuasca but these master plants where a lot of the knowledge comes from. So when you're doing these master dietas, you're sitting with usually one plant, that each plant kind of brings different knowledge and wisdom and gifts with it. And so the experienced leaders like the ones that we have done many dietas, and have really brought in a lot of these plants, a lot of this wisdom into their work. And I mentioned we have a Native American elder. So yeah, there's different traditions that have gotten blended in, and it's really beautiful to get to experience that all in one journey, oftentimes, and just and
Oh,
where that's
cool.
yeah.
How do you guys do that type of guidance with the different styles, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, there's you know, traditionally, like I work specifically with kind of a main medicine woman who has led our programs, and then her network and the people that she knows, she's brought in people that she trusts, and some of those have had different lineages and different experiences with the medicine. And so yeah, they've all been obviously open enough to practice in that way, and to oftentimes we'll have different people leading different ceremonies, and those will be slightly different in each ceremony. But yeah, traditionally the person leading the ceremony will ultimately have hold the container, and our team will really work together in that way, and have a lot of respect for each other and for other traditions. Sure.
Wonderful. And you really need that. You need that respect for each other. That's key, that trust, respect, that you are a master in what you do. Very cool. How did you so did you're the founder of One Heart?
Mhm. Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long ago did you open it?
It was just over 6 years ago, 6 years last month, and we will this month in April. We're on the 27th. Will be our 22nd journey. So we've done 22 of these. We've brought through about 1,000 liters, in that time. Yeah, it kind of started as a side thing, just looking at building conscious companies and thinking, oh, this would be a great way to bring people together and build the network of people, and have them be exposed to, the teachings and the learnings. Um, through my journey, yeah, it just kind of became something that was like so clearly, what I was gravitating towards. It was hard to do the other businesses and not see nearly the same impact. And so it just became something to really focus in on and really call forth.
Yeah, that is so cool. That is so cool. That's where I'm finding myself to be too. You're leaving academic medicine. So I'm on that journey, not quite as advanced as where you are right now,
Yeah.
in your
I mean,
manifestation.
yeah, I was just gonna say it's so important. People like you, and I mean, there's obviously you have a lot of knowledge of of biology and the human body, and in a lot of different aspects, and to really start to blend. And I mean, things that literally were working for thousands and millions of years in humanity, and bring those back into the world and allow people to find balance within themselves, heal themselves. I mean, I think that's another beautiful part of ayahuasca, and certainly the way that we make sure the container's held is that you're your own healer. It's not about any gurus. I think, that's one of the things I usually warn when people are looking for experiences is if, yeah, if there's someone that's attempting to be a guru or really place beliefs, it can be, I don't know, dangerous is the right word, but, less than optimal. And the goal of this medicine is to show you the power within, the power that you have over your own body, over your own domain, and really the strength that you carry. And I think a lot of times, our society is programming us the other way. We need this, we need that. We can't be whole without this, without that. And it's really an understanding of our wholeness as it is and our ability to trust and confidence in upholding that.
Absolutely. We have everything we need.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have everything we need within us, and we just have to it's a journey though to get to that point of recognition that we have everything we need, and we don't need distractions. We don't need to do for others so that we gain validation. Yeah, no, it's
Yeah. A lot
beautiful.
of unlearned.
A lot.
Yeah.
It's challenging work, but the more you go forward, you get to a space of, okay, I feel good. Yeah, I feel good more of the time than I don't. You
Yeah.
keep
And I think,
doing it. Mhm.
yeah, I think one of the fears when I'm talking to people before is often that like this medicine will somehow change them in some way where maybe they don't want or don't expect. And how I explain it, I mean, the medicine is really helping you to see the fears, the limiting beliefs, the blocks that are in the way. And when you release those, you have just more clarity. And sometimes that does mean big life changes because you've been making a lot of decisions out of fear, out of limiting beliefs. And so that's releasing you from those things to come and make decisions from a more clear, a more aligned, a more integral place. And that's what we see time and time again. It'll just show you what is of your highest, what is of your best interest. And sometimes that's not the things that we've built in our life, and that can be scary. And what's on the other side is really beautiful.
Absolutely. What incredibly powerful ancient tools that we're looking at again, right?
Yeah.
With more clarity. And
Mhm.
it's a wonderful time to be alive.
Mhm.
Wonderful. Because when we were experimenting in the 90s and 60s, and 70s, it wasn't conscious. And there was some studies that were happening in the background, of course, that got kind of wiped out. But now it's with reverence, and people who truly care are speaking up, and we're not afraid to come forward and be authentic and say, hey, this has changed my life for the better. But we have to be careful with it. It's like playing with fire. You have to respect it
Mhm.
and have reverence for it.
Yeah.
And, it can damage or it can be incredible. And finding that equilibrium is extremely important in everything we do, in everything we do. And the movement, continue to move, don't stagnate. But yeah, thank you so much for doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. We need us, okay?
For sure.
Just,
And yeah, this is what it's
yeah.
about, these conversations. Yeah, there's a lot of ancient knowledge and knowing that has been suppressed. And yeah, it's beautiful time because it is coming to the surface. And obviously there's structures that I've tried to suppress that for quite some time, and there's resistance to that. And people experience it for themselves, and they really understand what it is and what it means to be on this path. It becomes pretty clear. It's just fighting or yeah, or taking on that resistance that has been built up for at least the last century.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for the energy that you're putting into this work. Thank you for sharing it with us today. Mm.
For all the work that you're doing. It's yeah, really so important. And I love talking to physicians, love talking to though, and this is kind of what we do. Yeah, people with a lot of expertise in different areas that are starting to see how they can bring a lot of really valuable information and credibility to ancient knowledge and bring that back forth. Uh,
Yes,
served us for quite a bit of humanity.
yes, yes. It's time to remember and to
Yeah,
reconnect.
for sure.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Brandon, and we will make
Thank you,
sure that
Lita.
information is in the show notes for our
Yeah,
audience to go
please send us clips.
to.
We're happy to post. We love to support any way we can and bring the message forward.
Thank you. I'm gonna be in touch with you. It's like this is a beautiful connection. Yes, yes, it's just supposed to be. So here we are. Appreciate you and appreciate what you're doing and your wife. Thank you.
Thank you. Care.
Bye.